Alright, hello. So today is going to be a VOD review. This VOD it's a little bit old. I don't know how old it is, but it was definitely done on the last patch, like the one before this one. But I still think it was worthwhile. I'm just catching up on all the old games because I've been taking like a week off of playing, and I'm going to start playing again probably this upcoming Wednesday. And I'll just be doing I'll be playing a little bit daily as I used to. I just kind of decided to myself that I really didn't like the state of the game, and I kind of still don't like the state of the game, but like, you know, I'm gonna run out of VODs eventually, so yeah, so I'll get back to playing soon. I'll get back to grinding. Okay, so what this game is gonna go over, it's gonna go over a line that I think is still kind of relevant that people sometimes overlook. Originally, people kind of had this idea that TEEMO REROLL was really strong, mostly with like Two's Company and like some other stuff. But in this case, I have TEEMO REROLL spot, so I decided to go for it. I take 2 healthy, so this was back when, so basically the TEEMO REROLL line, I had a TEEMO and 2 healthy, so I decided I want to try this out and force this line, right? So this was early in the meta. The idea was that you would play TEEMO with a bunch of 2 costs, because you can play TEEMO, Riven, Zyra, Aatrox, and TEEMO, and that's like a bunch of 2 costs so that everybody gains a bunch of health. So you're super stable early, and then you just scale, and then you play 4 Trickshot in your late game, right? It turns out that now a lot of the strength of those type of comps has come from the idea of 4 Trickshot, right? So if you haven't seen it, I will probably play it eventually, but I haven't had a game where I had a good Kai'Sa spot. But Kai'Sa is very, very strong right now. She's probably the only 4 cost I can see that's like actually viable to play around to try and play like a 4 cost carry. And the idea is that you play Kai'Sa, you stabilize with 2 Trickshots, does a bunch of damage, and then you can level and eventually play like the 4 bruiser 4 Trickshot line. And that was kind of like the idea for a while. Like, this isn't like new things. The only reason it kind of came into like it crept in is because of like small little buffs here and there, as well as just the fact that like people figured out, because first people were trying to build attack speed Kai'Sa, then they were trying to build like utility with Kai'Sa. And now it's kind of like, okay, with these particular Ink Shadow items, you can play this line, and with, you know, with full damage items, you can play the Kai'Sa. This time we're going to focus on the TEEMO. So this is something you can do if you have a spot for it. I wouldn't recommend going for this unless you have 2 or 3 TEEMOs off rip. I'm kind of forcing it because this was still early in the set, and I wanted to try out all of the units. So this was me trying out TEEMO for my first time, basically, to see, so I can judge how strong is this, do I need to look out for it, etc. Right? So this video is a bit dated. This video probably should have been posted like, you know, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, maybe a week ago, but instead I've just kind of been like getting up to date with my upload schedule, because I front load a lot of my playing. I haven't played at all this patch, but I basically played like 150 games on the first patch. I got really hard stuck in Emerald, and it was really annoying, so now I'm just taking like a week off because I just don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm somebody who I really like it when the meta has like 4 cost flex as a viable option, and I usually default towards that. And if I can't reach a state like that, then I'll play like a reroll comp. The problem is everybody in my lobbies has been forcing rerolls. Even if I have a reroll spot, I'm usually contested, and it's been really unfun. So I just stopped playing because I'm like, this is just ridiculous, right? Like there's 3-way contests for Yone, 3-way contests for like other shit, and I'm like, this is so annoying. I'd rather just not. But I will probably start again very soon, and hopefully it's a little bit healthier, because there are some 4 costs now that people are playing and think very highly of. So, you know, I think that will maybe even it out a little bit. Okay, so anyways, I'm just kind of talking in general, kind of like an intro right now. We can skip a little bit because I'm not really going to do much this round. Basically, it's the double component encounter. So I basically, when I'm trying to build for TEEMOs, I'm trying to build a blue buff and raw damage. Typically things like Morello were really good on him because he spreads it well. He's the main carry of my comp, so I'm not looking to give him as much utility as I'm trying to give him some Giga stuff. Also, I would like to say, this TEEMO skin, I don't know what the general consensus on TEEMO is as a character, but this little cat skin is so cute. Every time I see him in my shop, I'm like, damn. But maybe that's because I like little cats. But he's very cute. So that's also a reason you might want to play him. I think if you're going for something like this, though, I think a more viable line here would have been just to play like Fortune, honestly. If I had the option for Fortune, but it's okay. Also, there's too much candy, so this was before people realized how broken it is. If I ever get the chance to, I'll show it, but people kind of figured it out. I was talking about this early. If you guys were on some of my early streams, when I was like playing the game like a lot, a week ago or so, I was talking about how too much candy seems insanely broken. I just don't understand how to play it, right? Because like you don't get like your econ's really important. If you're not making interest thresholds, you have to find ways to preserve HP without rolling at all, and you have to be like very, very cognizant of that. And I always said to myself, I was like, if you get to like a high level, like that you can buy like 5 costs and 4 costs, it seems very, very strong. So I tried to do it on stream one time, and I went fast 9, and then I tried to buy all the 5 costs, but I didn't hit that many, and it didn't work, and I just went 8. Now the way that you play too much candy is you literally just save a bunch of econ and you roll like 100 gold on level 8. You just don't even go 9, and you go for a 3 cost 4 cost, and then you just win the game for free. And it's just a matter of like getting to level 8 with enough health and enough money to make it happen. But you're almost guaranteed if you have enough gold to hit, because everything is free and you basically just roll your shops down to 0. So it's kind of nutty. It's really bad, and now that people kind of have like a general game plan and idea, it's like a guaranteed take, and it's like very, very strong, right? So just watch out for that. But anyways, so here I am just itemizing my TEEMO 1. As soon as I hit 3-1, you probably should roll for at least TEEMO 2. This isn't necessarily the best TEEMO spot. I would say myself that this is pretty bad, but I'm too healthy in this case. So the thing about too healthy is that you're just gonna have so much defensive stats, right? Especially with a comp like this. Now, like the too healthy line is probably like the Senna line, right? The Senna Ghostly line is a lot better user if you're gonna force something with too healthy. But basically what I'm gonna play is I'm gonna play I have Shen in the mix. I have Fortune in now. I was thinking of playing Fortune, but I think it's too late. I already lost all of the other stage. I'm pretty rich. I need to roll for some upgrades here on stage 3, and then once I have the upgrades, I should be a little bit more stable. It is it's a little bit scary because it's Crab Rave, and I'm going for a low cost reroll. Typically when you're in Crab Rave, Crab Rave is good if you natural your reroll comp, right? Because the thing is, with Crab Rave, everybody's gonna have money to giga cap their board. So if you're playing a reroll and you natural a bunch of the copies of the units, then you're very, very strong because you've naturaled everything, right? If you have to roll and you're wasting your Crab Rave gold or Scuttle Puddle, like you're wasting your extra gold on rolls, it might look nice that you hit early, but the thing is, everybody that isn't playing reroll is gonna get to level 9, maybe even level 10, so they will outcap you for sure. So just always be aware of that. That's why typically you want like later level rerolls, because the later level rerolls just have higher quality units that you can hit, so it makes it a little bit nicer. Anyways, I didn't get really good items for TEEMO either. This is why you usually don't force spots with these comps, right? Obviously I'm forcing the spot. What I would say is that it was early in the patch, and that's why I was forcing it, because I was just trying to learn the comp. But I also want to show the relative strength, because I don't think much has changed, except for this comp getting slightly stronger, right? Because if you look at like if you play a Kaisa board, and usually you itemize Kaisa and you put utility and additional like AP items on TEEMO, and TEEMO always does a shit ton of damage when it's 4 trick shot. Even if you're playing like Kaisa main carry with Kaisa, Zaya, TEEMO, if you have some items on TEEMO, look at your stats when you play the comp. Like in today's meta, like today's patch, like the 4 trick shot patch, TEEMO does a shit ton of damage. So if you can itemize TEEMO early, as well as have the what's it called? Have the gold to reach those higher levels of 4 trick shot, you will be very strong. So I still think this comp is viable, and it might even be more viable now. So I'm rolling for upgrades and generally the board. I'm looking for at least one Aatrox, which I can't find, but I'm rolling pretty deep for it. I find the Xayah, and then you want Aatrox in, and basically you're playing 5 2 costs, which boost the effect of 2's company by a lot, right? Usually with 2's company, you're happy if you have like 1 or 2 costs, like, and it gives a bunch of HP, right? So everybody's Giga Zooped up. I'm trying to think of what to itemize. I'm closest to Riven as my front line, so I just give Riven some melee items. Riven isn't that strong, and you definitely don't have to itemize towards her. If I was thinking about this in like today's lens of knowing how strong Kai'Sa is, it would definitely be like IE Last Whisper for Kai'Sa with these items, and I would just put them on Sivir or something like that, and then make like a Gargoyles, right? There's other options here that would make the board cap a lot higher. Here I just switch out. I'm trying to figure out what I want to put in. That costs me gold. That's the reason I don't put it in, by the way. So it's gonna cost me too much gold. See, like I made the 40 threshold. If I swap it out, I'll be under 40. But yeah, I'm not in that bad of a spot, but I'm not in a particularly good spot either, is what I would say. One thing to note, I didn't really talk about it, but I will talk about it now, is Radiant Blue buff. So Radiant Blue buff is one of those, like, there's some Radiant items that are like giga broken. Radiant Blue buff has always been extremely broken, especially for like a caster like TEEMO that he needs to like cast a bunch. So I am like very stable and very strong with Radiant Blue. So always note that, like, you know, depending on the sway of the lobby, like I spiked because I took like a very, very good combat, basically. Essentially, like, this Radiant item is a very good combat augment for me. There's some people that took greedy augments, so just be aware that I had a huge power spike, which might also affect how strong this game is. I just take the Rod because I'm thinking like I can make Spark for the Shred, or I can make, I might have been able to make something else. Not really. The only thing I could have made was like Adaptive Helm for TEEMO, which isn't that bad, but it's not that good either because I have Radiant Blue anyways. TEEMO Biss. I think now TEEMO Biss looks like Morello, just because like you're always putting Morello on him because he's like the main item holder for like utility in the Kai'Sa comp. As like a secondary damage unit, right? Here I put in, so usually I want to play Aatrox because the Bruiser has really nice like synergy, basically. Because 2's Bruiser makes it so that you gain 10% more health, and the 2's company gives you the extra health, right? So it synergizes together, is my understanding of why you don't play Yorick. But Yorick is still a 2's company, and it gives Behemoth to Shen. So, you know, as an intermediate, it's fine. It's better than what I was playing before, which is why I have Yorick on my board now. You might be able to, like, if you level on 7, you might be able to play, like, you know, if you're tempoing and you have, like, you know, another way to play this, if you don't want to commit straight to the reroll, is just to take this board and tempo it to 7. So you see, now I'm kind of like winning fights pretty convincingly because I had a huge power spike and my whole board is upgraded, right? It's Scuttle Puddle anyways, so I might be able to, I don't make the, yeah, I just switch out the Yorick for the Aatrox. What I was going to say is I can tempo to 7 and play the Yorick and then as temporary, and then once I get to level 8, I can play the standard 4 Bruiser, 4 Trickshot and play around Kai'Sa, right? I think that would be a more relevant way of playing this comp in today's meta, but all the same, I think that, you know, I'm obviously forcing the TEEMO reroll. I don't have that many TEEMOs, right? It's stage 3-6. I'm 50 gold level 6, and I have 5 TEEMOs, right? I wouldn't say my spot is a particularly good TEEMO spot, but my items are very strong. So just be aware of that. Also, I'm attack speed. It's probably the other Kaisa now. It's probably the what's it called? What's her name? The blue Kaisa, the AP Kaisa for TEEMO. Because I don't think the attack speed matters that much, and you can just put Sivir next to him or something. The blue Kaisa is now so much stronger. But my spot isn't that bad. I have 6 TEEMOs, right? It's not the end of the world. Now, like I said, I was forcing this very hard. This isn't something you should do, right? I wouldn't look at my early game and mid game. Besides like getting to stabilization points, you shouldn't like, if you don't have like 3 TEEMOs off rip, I wouldn't go towards this line, or at least 2 TEEMOs off rip, right? I think that it's a bit of a throw, because I lose a lot of average placements by going for the reroll, and this is a 2-cost reroll, so a lot of times it's not stable enough for me to roll deep to hit, right? Because right now I kind of have to hit, right? This is around the part, stage 4, where I'm going to start falling off. So I gotta hope that I hit all the TEEMOs. It turns out that I do. It turns out that I just high roll 2 TEEMOs. Now I'm going to roll to basically to as long until I hit this TEEMO, right? Because as soon as I hit this TEEMO, I'm stable, and then I can push levels. But as you can see, it's not coming. He's not coming. He's there. We're done. So now it's a matter of, okay, I'm just going to tempo level. You know, if I hit this Riven 3, I hit this Riven 3. If I don't, I don't. I'm too far off of Shen. I'm too far off of Zyra. I'm too far off of Aatrox. So whatever. I just put a Declaw on the Riven. And now my goal is to level to get to 4 Trickshot. Now, I didn't get any items, that's why I'm kind of annoyed, because I don't think Gwinsu is good on TEEMO, and I got, like, what did I get? I got Cloak Bow, right? I'm really looking for anything else, honestly. I'd even put a Morello on TEEMO at this point. I do have the Shred from the Kale, so this was when Kale was actually good at Shred, so that's probably why you might not see me make, like, a Spark, and why I put the Rod on the TEEMO. If you're thinking like why I should make Spark. I don't like Exiles because a lot of my units give attack speed adjacent, like Sivir. I just take Band of Thieves. Band of Thieves is always good. Like as a silver augment to give you a full TG, it's just strong. So always make note. I'm rolling here. This is where I shouldn't be rolling, right? I should not be this is bad. This is bad. Stop. You should be pressing this, not this, right? I should be tempo leveling for Kaisa because the 4 Trickshot is my next really strong improvement, right, to my board. And getting higher quality bruisers as well. Like a Silas with TGs is probably better than these guys. But for me, I just wanted to hit like at least 1 3-star upgrade for my front line. So I was looking to get 1 Riven. I think that was my thought process. This was really early on, so I just really wanted to hit everybody 3-star, I think, and then level, because I wasn't really valuing the 4 Trickshot as highly. But definitely it should be a level up situation here. This is a problem with going over like really old VODs, is that sometimes they look really goofy. Because like now it's very obvious to anybody who's played in the current patch or has watched any games in the current patch that it's like, oh yeah, you just go get Kaisa. Like Kaisa's so strong, right? But like so strong for this spot, like in this particular comp, right? But you know, back then it was kind of silly. I think in this lobby there's also a Kaisa player that's going to be stronger than me. Yeah, there's like a vertical Ink Shadow guy. Because even before the most recent patches, like Kaisa and vertical Ink Shadow was still quite strong, right? I definitely did, like, you know, I valued Kaisa as a unit. Now everybody kind of thinks that she's like the best 4 cost, or, you know, quote unquote up there with the best 4 costs. But yeah, this guy's just playing pretty much the same line as me, except he leveled up instead of going for TEEMO reroll, because he's just playing like what you would see kind of nowadays, like the Bruiser Trickshot Kaisa build. His items aren't necessarily the best. Like Shojin is probably useless, and you should just put the other thing on him. Anyways, I lost by like 1 HP. But relatively speaking, now you can kind of see like, you know, if I leveled to 7 here, I probably would have beat that guy, right? Let's be real here. So that's how the repercussions of me rolling deep for like this Riven 3 that doesn't really matter, this Aatrox 3 that doesn't matter, this Shen 3 that doesn't matter. You can see how it like directly affected maybe even my placement, because losing against that guy one fight, that might be the reason that I don't go first, for example. Hitting the TEEMO 3 is fine, and I did natural a bunch of the copies, but I definitely had enough gold to go to 7. I could even psycho level and sit on 8, right? Like there was options for me to get to a better spot, right? Because even leveling up once and putting in some random shitter like some altruist or a behemoth or even a sage, right? All of these things are great. Anyways, I make Gunblade for TEEMO because I just want to have healing. I think in this game, a lot of the time, just like having a backline healing is so important. There's a Galio. I'm not sure what I'm rolling for. I think I'm rolling for this Riven on 7 now. Just put in a behemoth and more 2's company value. Yeah, if I had this board last turn, I would have beat that Kaisa guy, which, you know, it is what it is. This guy has a Radiant Stoneplate Annie too, which is kind of scary. But yeah, you really want to get to level 8 with this comp, right? Once you have TEEMO 3, what I would say the biggest problem that I did this game is that you want to be level 8. Why do you want to be level 8? Because you want to play 4 Trick Shot for Bruiser. You don't even have to play this. Like, this is just like the very standardized, easy to remember like version that's very easy, because you have 4 frontline units, 4 backline units, you're very front to back, everything's great. The bigger problem is that like a lot of the problem I comp right now is that I don't have really good frontline. And my way of trying to consolidate that is to roll to get a 3-star frontline unit. The thing is, my frontline items aren't that good either. So getting a 3-star version of any of these isn't really going to make me that much stronger, right? What will make me stronger though is if I improve my frontline with, like, you know, imagine if I had a 2-cost Silas or a 2-cost Galio. Right, the 2-cost Galio, the 2-cost Silas is going to do way better than these guys. Or I can level and up my damage, because if you have a bad front line, but you have a lot of good damage, you can maybe make it work. Anyways, I make the Spark here because I think it's good. I was slow, so I don't even get my Riven in, so I'm sad. That's a mechanic diff. But yeah, that's the idea behind it, right? Whenever you do any decision, whenever you roll a gold or you use gold for EXP or you buy a unit, you always have to think about what is the repercussions of this. Like, how does this improve my board? How does this improve my spot? Why does this improve my board? What am I doing this for, right? And you have to kind of weigh out those options. I think, you know, I was more tunnel visioned on creating, like when I was making these, like sometimes when I'm making, when I'm playing the game, I'm thinking ahead of how am I going to make this into like a YouTube tutorial and or VOD review and or something to post, right? So like recently I posted like Nico, Pop Blossom. The other time I posted something with like Yorick or the other hero augments, right? The idea is that like if I'm saying like, hey, this is TEEMO reroll, I want to not kind of change it to what people expect it to be, because then either people get confused when I post the video, or they'll be like, this isn't how you play it right, and blah blah blah, and they don't like think ahead. If I was playing this correctly in this game, like to get proper placements, it is just a level for 4 Trickshot. It doesn't matter that I don't have a 3-star frontline unit, because I was stable enough with Radiant Blue buff in this particular case that you just level. Right, it's Scuttle Puddle. Everybody's gonna have Giga capped boards. You gotta start leveling up because you need to get some 5 costs on here to compete with the other boards that have 5 costs. Right. Finally, level 8. I put an Altruist. I should swap this out for 4 Trickshot eventually and 4 Bruiser. But yeah, it's fine. I just put items on Zyra. I shouldn't have put items on Zyra. I should put them on the Soraka, because I'll probably sell Soraka before I sell Zyra. Actually, no, I'll probably sell Zyra first, right? Yeah. Were those my best items I could have made? Yeah, because I had a tier to kill. So at least Adaptive Helm is a frontline item afterwards. I think that's fine. My items did work out okay this game. I know I made a spark even though I have the shred kale, but I think the spark was just more useful. Yeah, I should hold this Galio because I need to swap out the Zyra. I'm trying to think like 2's company value. Or sorry, 2's healthy. But I'm thinking like Sage is probably a little bit better just to have some extra AP and some extra stuff. I should be holding this Galio. But yeah, this is just me like not properly understanding how to cap my board. I think it's useful when I say videos like this. Like I know that as a viewer, it might not be the most entertaining because you don't see like a giga cap board. You don't see it get to go nuts. But I think it's really informative. Like for me, like even now I know these things, right? Because I've VOD reviewed these in the past to learn. But I think it's important to like look at a spot that, you know, and understand how to improve it rather than just like only look at the spots that are good. Because if you're in a similar spot where you don't have a 3-star front line, or you find yourself with a bunch of Teemos, you can play like this and, you know, I think it's still informative content, right? I could skip ahead a little bit. I think my board will stay the same for a while. This is a pretty easy coast to top 4 just because of how strong Teemo is and the fact that I have Radiant Blue, right? I have a very, very good combat and there's not really much people in the lobby that can compete with me, right? If we look here, oh, I finally have 4 Trickshot in. Did I level to 9? Yeah, I made it to 9. So I just sacked that stage. I just cycle level to 9, put in the Xayah that I picked up off of probably like Carousel. Yeah. Pick up the Xayah that I picked off of Carousel. And now I'll just itemize the Xayah and I'm 4 Trickshot. So I reached another break point of being strong. Now this is something I could have been many turns ago, right? And if I did that many turns ago, I probably would be playing for a first. Now there were a lot of Kaisas gone because the other guy in the lobby is playing Kaisa. This guy's the too much candy guy, or what's it called? This guy's the reroll guy. And I just beat him. He's like 5 faded, I think. He didn't hit Thresh. Oh, is he everything must go or too much candy? When I was talking earlier, it was not everything must go. It was too much candy that I was talking about. Or sorry, it was everything must go that I was talking about, not too much candy. Okay, whatever. Just make a correction. Yeah, but look, I'm playing against the other capped 4 Trickshot board, right? So now I'm playing with a weaker version. I'm playing against somebody that is a stronger version of me, right? Because there's 2 Trickshot players in the lobby. But as you can see, if you're contested Kaisa, you could just go for Teemo. Like it worked out. Excuse me, it worked out. This guy is, what? He's like 5 Sage, 6 Sage. No, he's 4 Sage. With Wei and this guy. As you can see, I'm still keeping up. This Teemo is cooking, right? Now, this spot wasn't even that good for Teemo because I was kind of weak really early game. Imagine if I had like 2 Teemos more or something. Look at this. Look at Teemo cook. I just cooked this guy. He had a fucking, what's his name? A Wukong 2. But yeah, I should definitely transition to a 4 Bruiser frontline because I think that would help my frontline a lot. Like I have Riven 3 already, which is fine for the 4 Bruiser, but I think the 2 healthy value isn't as important. Anyways, it's Crab Rave, so let's see if we can kill this crab. Come on, Teemo. Come on, Teemo. Yeah, I beat it. You know what's crazy? Like, I have legendary boards with like all upgraded 5 costs and they don't beat it, but you really need like a 3-star something to beat the crab, I think. I should sell a unit to make econ. Yep. Okay, I did it. Good job, past me. And now I have 2 items here. I can itemize Xayah pretty confidently. I should roll a little bit. So this is the guy that's just more capped than me because he is Kaisa 2, Xayah 2, Banshees on both of them, attack speed, Kale, and 4 Bruiser frontline. So I don't really expect to beat this guy, right? This is what I should have strived to be. Like, imagine if my board had 4 Bruisers and a Kaisa 2 with items, and a Xayah 2 with items, right? I'd be so much stronger, but obviously this guy, he was playing towards this line, and he's like way stronger, way healthier. You know, it's okay. I'm not too upset. Now, obviously, like I showed you, I lost a lot of placements, I think, from my late mid game, where I was just needlessly rolling for some frontline upgrades, like to try and hit this 3-star Riven. Because I think it would have just been so much better to tempo level. I could have been level 9 like 3 turns earlier, and I would have pressured the lobby insanely hard, right? I would have been so insanely strong to pressure the lobby. This guy is now, is he 7 faded, like Natty 7 faded? I don't know, I can't tell. But it's okay, I have good backline access here. I think I still lose this though. Am I dead? No, I'm 1 HP. So I'm 1 HP, I almost beat this guy, but I didn't. This guy I think naturally outcaps me because he hit his board, and I just don't have enough front line to deal with him. And now it's just me versus the guy who's stronger than me as a trick shot, so I don't know. Maybe the leveling would have been troll as well, because like the thing is, like, this guy having the Kaisas makes it really hard to hit the Kaisas, but I think if I leveled and I had enough gold, I could have definitely hit at least a Kaisa 2 even contested, right? Because I have the stabilization of the TEEMO, so it's not essential for me to hit the Kaisa. But look, this fight's really close. Oh wait, I won. It was his ghost. Yeah, but then this guy lives with 1 HP. I think it ends up being a third, just the way it falls out. So this was super close, right? If it wasn't for those mistakes, I might have even been able to get first. And that's what I was saying, right? Like, you have to evaluate. I got a Heavenly Crest, doesn't really matter. This guy's just way too strong for me, because he even has like an Udyr 2 now, right? He has the Ink Shadow item. He has Xayah 2. So he has like pretty much 2 carries and a Giga front line, right? So it's gonna be a hard fight for me. And I think the other guy's fighting my ghost, because I'm fighting a real. Yeah, so the other guy already beat my ghost, so I just get third here. But everybody's like 1 HP difference, right? 7 HP, 1 HP, and I'm 1 HP and I get third, right? So that's like the main reason why. But hopefully this was somewhat informative, right? This was very early on in the patch, so obviously there's mistakes to be made. But just think the little cat guy, he's kind of viable, right? You know, you can also use something like this as a fortune cash out, right? Like after you hit fortune, if you really need to like play around something, you can itemize your TEEMO, and then you can go for like TEEMO into Trickshot Kaisa, which is pretty common. If you hit a natural bunch of TEEMOs, obviously it's very strong, and you know, you can try it out in your lobby. Comment below if you tried it and let me know how it goes. And I'll see you all around next time.